Hello everyone. I am going to discuss on mango drink processing with respect to RTS, that is ready to serve beverages. Now we'll see first about the introduction part. The mango, in Hindi we commonly called it as an aam, is a stone fruit which belongs to the Anacardiaceae family, which are flowering plants that produces fruits. Mangoes are native to South Asia and is the national fruit of India, Pakistan and Philippines. We know the common name of mango, it is mango itself. The scientific name or the botanical name of mango is Mangifera indica, and the family which it belongs to is Anacardiaceae family. You will find mango trees all around you, either in your home garden, either in a park, or you may also find a huge land cultivated for this mango tree. But we need to understand the requirements of its better growth. That too, we need to understand what are the soil and climate requirements for mango cultivation. Mango grows well on all types of soil provided they are deep and well drained. In India, mango is grown on lateritic, alluvial, Kankar and all other types of soil. The soil should be rich, medium and well drained, and again these types of soil will give better results of cultivation. Mango is grown in both tropical and subtropical condition. They can tolerate a wide range of climatic condition, so that you will find the mango trees cultivated all over the India. The temperature and rainfall have to be within a clearly defined range. This table represents the states and their respective growing belts for mango tree. So again, if you see Gujarat, the growing belt in a Gujarat state is Bhavnagar, Surat, Valsad, Junagadh, Mehsana and Khera. Again, if you see Maharashtra, it is Ratnagiri, Sindhudurg and Raigad. It's along the coastal region and we call generally it as an Konkan region of Maharashtra. So likewise, you will find it all over the India, and different states have different growing belts that you can find it from this table. Now, according to the previous table, what we have seen, the respective states have respected growing belts for the mango trees. And again, with respect to the states who are growing the mangoes, there are different varieties that you can see in this slide. The first variety that is well known, and again it is very familiar to everyone, which is of an export quality mango, that is Alfonso. Generally we call it as an Hapus aam. It is grown largely in Maharashtra state. The another variety is Totapuri, which is grown in Karnataka. Then the another one is Banganpalli, which is from Andhra Pradesh. Then Dashahari from Uttar Pradesh, Himsagar variety from West Bengal, Kesar, which is sweet mango, which comes from Gujarat, Langda from Uttar Pradesh, Ambika from Uttar Pradesh, then Malgova from Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, Vandraj from Gujarat, and Suvarnarekha from Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, and the another variety is Chausa, which is from Himachal and Bihar state. All these varieties differ in the shape, size, color, and no doubt in a taste. Some of them might be in a sour taste and some of them might be with a very good sweet taste. You can see in this table there are lot many varieties of mangoes which are grown in different states of India. So again, if you go state wise, if you go at an Jharkhand state, you will find Zardadu, Amrapalli, Malika, Bombay, Langra, Himsagar, Chausa and Gulab Khas varieties. Again, if you go to Punjab, you will find Dashehri, Langra, Chausa and Malda. Again, we have already seen it can be grown in any type of variety and it can be grown in a varied climatic condition. So that's why if you just see this table, all the varieties can be grown in any of the states from India. If you see the cultivation and production statistics of mango in India, you will find that the area of cultivation is about 2258 hectares, which accounts for a production of 21,822,000 metric tons. Again, if you see the major countries to whom we are exporting our mangoes are UAE, UK, USA, Oman and Qatar. There are lot many other countries, but here we have represented the major countries to whom we are exporting the mangoes in a large amount. If we are going to consider any fruit for its value addition, first we need to understand why we are value adding that fruit or why we are going to use it in many forms of the food product. The first thing that we should know about any fruit is its nutritional value. Again, if any fruit is having a good nutritional value, then only we are thinking about its processing. And again, when we are processing any fruit, the processing parameter should not reduce the nutritional value of the food. So, for understanding the processing parameters which may affect on a particular nutritional value, prior to that you should always need to know about the nutritional value of the fruit. If we consider the nutritional value of mango, you will find it from this chart itself. It is rich in moisture. Again, it is rich in carbohydrate, that's why it is sweet in taste. It is also rich in vitamins like vitamin C and vitamin A. Here, the health benefits of mango is given. The first benefit is it promotes eye health as it is rich in beta carotene that helps in the production of vitamin A, and we know that vitamin A is good for our eyes. Again, it prevents cancer as it is rich in antioxidants like quercetin and isoquercetins. They protect against different carcinogens or carcinogenic compounds. It reduces the cholesterol levels, or it checks the cholesterol level, as it is high in vitamin C, it is rich in fiber, and again it is rich in pectin. It helps in maintaining your fat level of the body. Again, it cleanses your skin from inside. The immune system will get boosted as it is a rich source of vitamin C and different carotenoids. It prevents anemia as it is again a good source of iron content, which you can consider as a natural remedy for anemia. The most important factor which has led us towards the value addition of mango fruit is the post-harvest losses. The post-harvest losses for this fruit accounts to about 25 to 30%, which amounts to over rupees 250 crore. Again, the problems associated after harvesting this fruit are like exposure of fruit to the sun may lead to the shriveling and loss in marketable weight. As the moisture will get evaporated, the fruit will become slightly dry and the weight will become less. The fruits are susceptible to attack by insect and decaying causing organisms. The rough handling may also lead to damage of certain portions with white starchy area and failure to turn it yellow. The another defect or the post-harvest problem that we generally find is Chex jelly seed formation, which is nothing but softening of fruit pulp near the stone. So again you will find the pulp nearer to the skin will be in a good and solid condition, but again if you see the pulp just closer to the stone, it will be very soft and it will be much sour in a taste. As we have seen about the post-harvest losses, likewise many other reasons are there which has led us towards the value addition of mango. No doubt the first reason is to prevent the post-harvest losses associated with this fruit. Then again to preserve the fruit for the longer time period so that we can relish the taste and flavor of this fruit throughout the world and throughout the time. The demand for processed and semi-processed products are much more increasing. That is again a main reason why we are going for value addition. Then the opportunities for the products like processed products, that too with respect to the fruits, if you consider the fruit drinks, the fruit candies, the fruit preserves, jam, jellies, these kinds of processed products has a huge market potential in a segment of fruits and vegetable processing. So if you consider all these things, it is very much important to go for value addition of mango. Here in this slide, some of the value added products which are possible from raw and ripe mango fruit are given. In case of raw mango, you can make a use of raw mango in making pickles, panna, dry mango powder and chutney. In case of ripe mango, you can prepare mango juice, mango concentrate, mango jam, mango jelly, mango syrup and canned mango pulp. Some of the thermally processed fruit based beverages which are possible from mango fruit and which has been got recognized by FSSAI, they can be either made from sound, ripe fruit or the flesh thereof and processed by heat. They needs to be get packed and sealed in a container so as to prevent their spoilage. They can be get packed in flexible packaging or they can be get aseptically packed. The fruit juices or the beverages, they may not be fermented, they can be unfermented, but they will contain fermentable sugar in it. They can be turbid, they can be pulpy, or they can be clear in a view. Some of the thermally processed fruit beverages can be like canned mango pulp or canned mango juice, or either it can be get packed in glass bottles or PET bottles. If we consider the processing of mango in varieties of value added product, we need to go into the processing steps. The first step for the mango fruit processing is sorting. So we can do the sorting of the mangoes either by manual method, either by mechanical method, or either by using weight graders. So in the sorting, what we are doing, we are just segregating the fruit based on a particular characteristic so that we'll get a product of uniform quality. So again, during sorting, we are just checking the fruit for a damage caused by pest, a damage caused by low or high temperature. Again, we can check the fruit for abnormal external moisture, or else we can check the fruit for necrotic stains or traits which can be due to microbial growth. So these all parameters, if you consider, then you will be able to sort the fruit in a good quality fruit or a sound fruit and a bad quality fruit. And once we have a good quality raw material, ultimately the final product what we are going to process it will be in a good quality. According to the AgMark standards, the mangoes will fall into different classes as extra class mangoes, class 1 mangoes and class 2 mangoes. To fall into these classes, the mangoes should pass different grade requirements which are given in this table. Again, in a particular batch of mangoes, the grade tolerance limit is also given by the AgMark. For extra class, the grade tolerance limit is 5%. For class 1, it is 10% by number or weight. And again class 2, it is again 10%, but it should satisfy the required grade characteristics. This is a flowchart for making an RTS from mango fruit. Again, standard requirements for the thermally processed fruit beverage are given in the table. So again, the minimum requirements for thermally processed fruit beverages are, it should contain total soluble solids about 10%. The minimum fruit juice content should be 10%. The acidity in terms of citric acid, it should be 3.5, and if it is being get added with nutritional sweeteners, it should be of GMP standard. Make an use of different additives to enhance the quality of these beverages, like citric acid to increase or to maintain the acidity, and ascorbic acid to enhance its nutritional value. You can make an RTS by using mango fruit pulp, mango fruit juice, or either you can use mango fruit concentrate for making RTS. Again, to make a fruit pulp or fruit juice, you can go for pulping process and extraction process, where after peeling of the fruit, it will send to the pulper, where the pulp from the stone will get extracted and the fiber along with stone will go into waste. Again, you can add different additives like acids, stabilizers, emulsifiers, coloring agents, flavoring agents, acidity regulators, antioxidants and preservatives as per requirements. Once you add all these things into your fruit pulp or fruit juice, or if you are making a use of concentrate, you can go into a next step, which is mixing. So again, in the next step of mixing, which will be get carried out in a mixing tank, you need to improve the sweetness, or you need to maintain the sweetness of your beverage. So you will require to add sugar into it. So generally the sugar, that too again a cane sugar in a form of sugar syrup, will get added and it will get properly mixed up. Then after, to get an homogeneous mixture and to get uniform quality in a beverage, you need to homogenize it, and to remove the unwanted large particle impurities, you need to filter it. Again, you have to de-aerate sometimes the fruit juice, so that you will have a crystal clear view of your beverage. After homogenization and filtration, you can go for a thermal process, which is called as pasteurization, where you heat your food product at a higher temperature for a short period of a time, so that the possible pathogenic microorganisms will get destroyed and your product will have now a good shelf life. After pasteurization, you have to cool it, and after cooling, you can pack it aseptically. Aseptic packaging means you have to take proper care that no microorganisms are entering in your food product after its processing or during its packaging. Now we'll see each step of the RTS processing one by one. The first step is cleaning and washing. You can see in this image the fruits are being get washed with the water, which will be get added with 50 ppm chlorine to prevent the microbial contamination. And we are doing this cleaning and washing step to remove the adhered dirt, to remove the latex stain, and to remove the surface organism if they are present on it. The next step is peeling and pulping. So the graded mangoes, which are now washed to remove the impurities, are sent for the peeling. The peeling can be done manually. Once the mangoes are peeled off, the mangoes will get sent to the pulper. You can see the image of pulper in this slide. The pulp will get extracted through the screen, and the fiber and the stones will go into waste, and will get a good quality pulp. Now in this step, that is addition of additives, you can add different additives according to the requirements of the product. If you are making pulp, if you are making juice, if you are making RTS, depending upon the requirements for that specific products, you will be adding different food additives, and once they are getting added, you need to blend them so that they will get properly distributed and you will get a good homogeneous mixture out of it. So again, this is the image where you can see after addition of different additives how the homogenization will happen, or how the blending of all these additives will happen. After addition of different additives, we need to homogenize our product so as to get a uniformity in the particle size and uniformity in the product consistency. So in this case, the mango juice will be homogenized under 20 to 25 megapascal pressure for 2 to 3 minutes in a homogenizer. Then the particles which are bigger in a size will get crushed and they will get reduced to a size of 1 to 5 micrometer. Again, the homogenization will benefit us by giving us a product of uniform particle size, and that will regulates the sedimentation in your fruit beverages, and again it will improve the taste properties of your product. After homogenization, you have to send your beverage immediately for the pasteurization process. So again, pasteurization is a thermal process where you are providing a heat to your food product at about 62 to 85 degrees centigrade for 1 minute, so that the possible pathogenic microorganisms will get destroyed, and hence it will eliminate bacteria, yeast, and also it will inhibit the deformation causing enzymes by reducing the enzyme activity in the fruit juice. These are the images of packaging machineries which are used in RTS production. The first image is about continuous bottling plant. Then second one is continuous pouch packing machine, and third one is flexible spout packing for micro industries. In case of fruit processing, it is not only to get a product and to convert it into a value added product, but again we need to consider the waste utilization so as to gain maximum profit out of that fruit processing plant. So whatever the waste we are getting in the mango processing plant, we need to think about its utilization again into different value added products. The mango processing will leave a huge amount of waste which can be get utilized in a better way to convert into value added products, and it will help to reduce the environmental pollution also. So again, you can make a use of the mango seed and you can convert it into a mango kernel powder, which you can use either as an ingredient in a different food products, or you can use it as an additives. You can extract the oil from mango seed, which can be get used in many of the food products and some pharmaceutical products also. You can use the mango peels and you can convert it into a fermentable waste. You can convert the kernel into a flour. You can extract the pectin from the mango peel. Again, the waste you can ferment it and you can convert it into a biogas. You will find many of the food products in a range of mango RTS, and again many of the commercial products in a different range. So again, some of the images of those products has been given in this slide. So again, the first one is paper boat, then another one is a tetra packed Maaza, then another one is real fruit juice or real fruit puree, then again Tropicana. Likewise, you will find lot many commercial forms of mango RTS available in the market. Thank you.